for watching Kelo TV. My name is Semakula Musa, and this is the top up. Yeah, unlike the previous shows, today in my studio I have one of my guests. Usually I've been bringing you all that happened in the week, but today I have a guest. I have the People Power Coordinator USA, Mr. Kharim Ntambi. Mr. Kharim Ntambi, thanks for coming in the studios.
Thanks so much for having me, and thank you so much for the great work you're doing at Kero TV.
Yeah, we're trying. Just tell the people what your names are and your responsibilities. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening, everyone from wherever you are. My name again is Kharim Ntambi. I am the People Power Coordinator, USA. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. And today I have the opportunity to be here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to engage with our people here to talk about the issues that are going on back home in our camp as People Power, and also talk about the current events in the country and outside Uganda.
Yeah, the previous week we had a lot going on in Uganda. We had by-elections in Hoima and in Kaboom.
Yeah.
It happened that, People Power lost, like the opposition lost. I won't say People Power. You will tell me all about that, because I remember in Hoima you had Nyakato. Nyakato lost. We had a lot of things going on in the by-elections. So, what does the loss mean for People Power and the opposition at large?
First of all, I want to thank the people of Hoima for turning out in big numbers and voting for Nyakato. And congratulations, Honorable Asinasi Nyakato. I know truly the people voted for you, and it was evident everywhere in Hoima after these people hijacked our vote in the middle of the night. They cut the electricity off, despite the early signs in the early hours of the day. It showed that our candidate was leading, but the government we are facing has all the tools. The other candidate had the tools. It had the army, it had the RDC involved, beating up people. There were police officers that were caught red-handed stuffing ballot boxes. So a lot went on. I wouldn't call it a loss, because our people really did what they did, but because our country is still in captive, the NRM regime didn't let us celebrate the win that we had. But I again thank the people of Hoima for turning out in big numbers, and I still encourage people not to lose hope, to still stand firm and believe in the struggle. And come 2021, we are still going to be here, and we are still going to show them that the people power is stronger than the people in power.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, before 2021, because this by-election was kind of a decisive one, because it meant that either people power is powerful or the NRM is powerful. Either opposition is powerful or the NRM is powerful. So, since Honorable Nyakato lost, because just you say that, she never lost, but before going into all that, because last week the NRM candidate was sworn in. So what does it imply, and what does it show to the opposition after this loss?
To call it a loss is to make our people lose hope. But we have to agree with what the facts were on the ground, and I think it's going to be challenged. You saw the head of the Electoral Commission came out and admitted that there was rigging. He admitted that there were stuffed ballots. So we need to have a comprehensive audit of the election too. This clearly shows us that we badly need electoral reforms. We badly need electoral reforms. We shall not have a free and fair election if the NRM government is going to be in charge of the Electoral Commission. We need to find a way that also us as the opposition are actively involved in monitoring the vote. We need an independent Electoral Commission. we don't want to have the RDC decide. We don't want a situation where the army, you're bringing in the members, you're bringing in your top army generals, you're bringing in your top police officers to monitor a by-election in
Hoima.
In Hoima.
I mean, how are you planning to go about that? Because the president is the authority, the appointing authority. So how are you as the opposition going to do that?
No. To say the president is the appointing authority, you're cutting the government short. The government is comprised of the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So if the administration is saying is going to do that, there are other ways that we can do checks and balances. All we need to do is to make sure that if we go into an election, it's going to be fair, everybody is involved fairly. You don't want a situation where somebody is stepping on your neck but is saying you're free to vote. Well,
you're uncuffed.
Yeah, you're uncuffed. we are still even getting our people, our representatives from prisons. These people
were arrested.
They got arrested. They were beaten. They were tortured. Some of them haven't just still got back to their homes. So we are still fighting, and whoever gets out has not been formally charged. So it shows that there was some kind of unfairness in this, and those are some of the issues that we need to address going into 2021. Otherwise, we might end up into a same situation. So I would encourage our people on the ground to start pushing for electoral reforms, and these electoral reforms should come in as soon as possible. We cannot wait until 2020, later in 2020, to have these reforms. These reforms should come in actually before April.
So, I mean, since they saw that there were some stuffed ballot papers, I mean, couldn't they stop the voting right away? Because I remember in 2011, when they were voting for the mayor of Kampala, they did the same thing, and voting was stopped. There, you remember when they opened the ballot box at Bati Valley. So why didn't it happen this time around?
I think this shows you the incompetency of the Electoral Commission and why we need electoral reforms. Because this hasn't happened once. So many times we've been in court, and the court really sees that they were rigging, and the Electoral Commission does nothing. So this has set a precedent for us as a country to look at the Electoral Commission and say, is this what we want? Is this the commission that we want to take care of the 2021 elections? If it's not, then we should come back and think twice before we go there. Do we need it to have it as it is, or we need to follow what the Supreme Court guided to have reforms made before we go into a major election?
My other question is, how are you going to go about the issue of the army and the police? Because from what we saw the police guarding the people that were with stuffed ballot papers. We saw the army also doing the same. We saw the RDC, and from what we know, the RDC is more of a representative of the president in the region. So if at all these bodies are engaged in the ballot stuffing, how are you sure that come 2021 it is not going to be the same?
First of all, I would want to let the people know that what the RDC did was criminal. He needs to be investigated. He was on camera beating up a resident who was doing nothing more than supporting an opposite candidate. So when you have these forces in the face of the police, because the police was just right there, and I think the best that the police could have done to show us that they are not working for the regime was to arrest the RDC. But when the police came, he wanted to take the lady away. So that shows you that the police, the army, is working in close contact with the regime. So what we have to demand going forward is to have these institutions independent. The more you personalize institutions, the more you weaken them. So as people power, we envision a Uganda where the police is working independent, the army is working independent, The Electoral Commission is independent, but if we continue with the trend of having these bits being personalized, we are not going to have a free and fair election.
Yeah, because from what I saw, we saw a policeman or policemen guarding, because I remember, was it Mr. Waiswa? There's a lady who went on capturing all the events. Yeah, you know, that was a policeman, actually. He either is the RDC or no, RPC or DPC for that area. I'm not sure about that, but he was there and he witnessed that people had what pre-ticked ballots, but he never did anything. And to my surprise, even the government or the institution as the police hasn't yet come out to condemn the act, because the policemen were there, army officers were there, and no security agents has come out yet. So how do you think you're going to be helped as the opposition if even the police or the army cannot come out right now too?
I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't want us to concede that we lost. Because if we believe we lost when we had the boxes of stuffed ballots, it would make us feel, it will make our people feel as though they didn't do too much. Our people in Hoima went out in big numbers and did what they could. However, when these pre-ticket ballots came out, and at the end of the day, the Electoral Commission didn't even consider them, didn't even mention them when they were announcing that, okay, we had this number of people who were registered, these are the people who voted, these were the stuffed. We don't know where the stuffed came from, and we don't know where they were taken. Those are supposed to be held as exhibits for the people who are doing a electoral malpractice. So those are exhibits. If we are to indict people like the RDC who was actively involved in that, that's where we should start from.
But do they have them somewhere?
They have them. So that's one of the things we as People Power should be doing, is to
get your legal team,
what we call an autopsy of what happened in Hoima, and put all the pieces together and present them to the relevant authorities and ask them to do a comprehensive audit in what happened in Hoima.
Yeah, still in Hoima, we saw during the campaigns, we saw all forces of change going to Hoima to support Nyakato, and we saw the president of Uganda also supporting their candidate. What happened? At last, we didn't see some groups like we saw that People Power had taken over. Was it more of a hijack or an agreed thing?
People Power didn't take over anything. People Power welcomes all candidates who believe in change in Uganda, who believe in the transformation of transformational democracy in Uganda. Whether you are from FDC, whether you're from JEMA, whether you're from NRM, and you believe that you're tired of this 33-year junta, you are with us. So what happened, the candidate that People Power was supporting was an FDC candidate. So I don't think there was a conflict of interest, but also you have to bear in mind that this is a struggle. There are going to be people who have vested personal interests in the struggle. There are people who are genuinely going to support the struggle, and there are those who are going to let you down at the last minute. So those are some of the things that you shouldn't take for granted. We should know going ahead that some of those things happen, but what do we do moving forward? We need to make sure that we as a people who are for the struggle, who are for change, stick together and work together, work our differences out, whether you're from DP, whether you're from FDC, NRM, and you really believe that Uganda should change. This is the time for you to join People Power and struggle with us through 2021.
Yeah, thank you. There's a clip that I watched. They were interviewing Ingrid Renawe, and she mentioned something like they went to Hoima to solicit for votes for Nyakato, but then they realized that people were talking about Bobby's ambitions of presidency and stuff, and because for her, she said that is the reason as to why some almost FDCs backed up. Do you think that was a good thing? First of all, you're going to talk about the people that raised the posters for Bobby Wine, and another thing, FDC as a party backing up or backing out, because Nyakato is a member of FDC and he like she is their candidate, but then they backed out of her. I mean, what does it imply?
I really cannot speak for FDC. I can only try to speak for. I am authorized to speak on behalf of People Power, but I cannot speak for FDC.
Okay.
Whatever Honorable Ingrid Turinawe said, she's entitled to her opinion, but not entitled to her own facts. Yeah. We were together in solidarity. We had people from FDC who fully supported us. Like I told you, this is a struggle. You are going to have people who have personal interest. You're going to have people who are really down for change in Uganda, and you're going to have people who disappoint you on the last minute. So whatever she said, that's her opinion. She's entitled to it. Yeah. I cannot speak for FDC. We supported them and we have been working side by side. We supported Pomiru. We have been supporting a number of
people and even different political parties. I mean, should we say that? Because it looks like FDC as a party, though you're not gonna speak for them, but I mean, there's it looks like they were not happy to see People Power supporting Nyakato. But my question is, as People Power, couldn't you get your own candidate?
People Power is not a political party.
Yeah, but I mean, couldn't you get a candidate from either no party or something, because People Power has forwarded candidates in different.
The people in People Power came from different political parties.
Yeah.
And most people in People Power are still attached to their own political parties.
Yeah.
Most of the candidates we have supported have at some point been somewhere. So Nyakato rose up and saw that the values and what People Power stands for were in line with what she wanted to advocate for. So she came up, she had a Barret, she was ready. Our principal, the Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, supported her. So that we had no other person to support than having the person who was risen up, the person for the people of Hoima, the person that the people of Hoima wanted for their member of parliament was Nyakato. So we went ahead and supported her.
We have seen your principal, Honorable Chagulanyi, supporting different people from different regions, and we've seen them winning with big numbers. We saw what happened in the eastern part of Uganda with Honorable Mwiru. We saw what happened with Honorable Basarira. Because if we can go back, if Honorable Basarira, he contested with like 4 or 5 other people, but he managed to win with big numbers. How come that even Kassiano Wadri, you know, Dr. Kamukiza Besigye was supporting someone, the NRM had a candidate, and even Honorable Chagulanyi was supporting who? Kassiano Wadri. But we see that Kassiano Wadri won with big numbers. Yet even FDC had a big number of people, NRM had. So how come that in Hoima, where we only had 2 candidates, and even we had a collaboration of different parties, opposition, how come that opposition lost?
Like I said, let us go back to Arua. Honorable Kassiano Wadri didn't just win. He won while he was in prison.
Prison, exactly.
That means that if people have decided to come and support you, it won't matter. What happened in Hoima, like I told you, during day when the results were coming in, during day, everywhere it showed clearly that we were winning. Until when these people decided that they will not be able to announce the winner during the time, they cut the electricity off, they locked themselves in, they arrested our representatives. So we had no say. The declaration forms, they were taken away from our people. some of them even before signing them, they took everything.
Yep.
And this is something that did not happen in Arua. It is not something that happened in Rukunjiri. Neither is it something that happened in Jinja.
Why is it that this time the government was more committed, or NRM was more committed to do whatever, regardless whether the camera is there? What is all about Hoima that really never mattered in other areas or regions?
I think they underestimated the will of the people.
Yeah.
The government has been underestimating the voices of Ugandans.
Yeah.
And when it came to Hoima, they knew that they have been burnt once. So the president and his people of the NRM government, hidden in the Electoral Commission, decided that by hook or crook, they will have to announce their candidate, whether the candidate has won or not. Because even before, we had people within the NRM circles come out and say they are going to win 60%. Though even on their rallies, the biggest rallies where the president was, they never made the people that were there. They were little kids.
We saw kids.
They had to ask students to. They had to ask schools in the neighborhoods to close so that the children could come. They were pupils. They were pupils. You could see even uniforms. One side is white, one side is blue, one side is yellow.
Yeah, there's a picture that was circulating whereby artists were singing and kids were right there.
You have little kids there who haven't...
Okay.
Yes.
All said, did people power or the opposition learn anything from Hoima? From all that happened? Because remember, there are so many people in the opposition that have been saying that Bobby Wine and People Power are saying go and register and leave the rest to us. But I mean, they left the rest to you. But then
what happened?
You couldn't even get a win from Hoima. What happened? So if it happened in Hoima, how sure can you be that it won't happen in 2021?
I think the takeaway from Hoima is unity. We do better when we work together. There is need for us as opposition forces to unite. If we have a candidate, we can rally behind the strongest one amongst us. Fortunately, the most strongest amongst us recently have been people who follow the ideal of people power. I understand there could be frustrations from other political parties, but if our goal is to take down the junta come 2021, all we have to do is to put the best foot forward and go for the best. And the best right now is within us, the people from people power.
Okay. All right. Away from the Hoima by-elections. Today, we just had a ruling by the court. You know, you remember people from Lusanja, where actually your principal, Honorable Ntambi, represents. You know, he represents the people from Lusanja. People were taken off from their land, and I mean they had a case in court, but today the ruling came out that they should vacate the land in 1 month. So what do you say about that?
First of all, I would like to tell the people of Lusanja to stay firm, to be resilient, to understand that this is their land. They are trying to illegally evict them. The first court order that was issued to evict people from Lusanja was given by a judge in Nabweru, which is far away from on the other side of Lusanja. And guess what? The person who issued that order was Esther Nasambu, the judge, who is a sister to Justice Catherine Bamugemerere, who is in charge of the Land Commission.
Land Commission, right.
So I don't know where she has been. She has been silent on the issue.
Bamugemerere?
Yeah.
She went there once.
She went there.
And even the president also went there. Actually, the president...
We want deliverables. We don't want people to
You remember the president even promised
for
something.
pictures. No. The president is going in for optics. We want action on ground. There is no way you can illegally evict over 1,000 families from Lusanja with no sense of direction. And you can't even give them for example, let me give you an example. It takes a year or 2 years for somebody to build a small house. A small house which is going to be between 8 to 20 million Uganda shillings. And then you want to give them 2 months to vacate.
Did they give them 2 months or 1 month?
No, I'm just giving an example. If you're to give them 2 months or 1 month to vacate, these are people who live on almost under $1 a day. The money that they have been putting together to raise these houses is enormous. It's something that they have been doing for years.
You know, they have saved that money some have saved it for like years. 20, 10 years.
For years. And these people are thinking, this is security for our children. This is where our children will be. Now, if you come today and you illegally evict them, you're sending them to homelessness. Last time we had 2 kids die in Lusanja.
And that is where we get people that do a lot of things. I mean, violence and stuff.
Leave alone violence. We had an incident of 2 young children who fell into a pit latrine. And we don't know who should be held responsible. The government doesn't want to come out. The Land Commission didn't come out to issue a statement or offer guidance on how to move forward in Lusanja. People are leaving as refugees in their own places. And this issue is not only unique for Lusanja. We have an issue in Apa that has been going on since 2010. Over 10,000 huts have been damaged. The people have been kicked off their land. They tell them that it has
their homes demolished,
gazetted for what is it called, a national reserve for wildlife. By the way, before those people got off that land, they rightfully owned it until the NRM government pushed them into internally displaced camps. That's where they stayed.
But why is it that there are so many land wrangles between, in this period of NRM? Is there a scheme of taking people's land or what?
Land grabbing is an issue that most fading dictatorships do, especially in Africa. They use it as a scare tactic. They use it to show superiority, and they do it with impunity. The people in Apa have been hurt so bad. It's because every day you had incident. At least we have 15 documented deaths.
Is Apa the place where we saw women stripping naked?
Yes. They had to stand up.
Because they stripped, I think like 4 or 3 years back when the late Honorable Aronda Nyakalima was there with other delegates, and then they did it, I remember, this year.
Yeah, they have been protesting, and at some point they camped at the UN offices in solidarity to show them that this is our land. We cannot leave. We rightfully own it. We were pushed into internally displaced people's camps, and by the time the war ended and we wanted to come back and reclaim our land, they were telling us it is a land reserve. So those are some of the issues. It's not Apa, it's in Mubende, it's in Masaka. And the only place, unfortunately, where all these things are not happening, there are places in WesternUganda. People have not been facing such things, but people are being evicted in Wero, in Masaka, in Hoima, you have in Apa, you have Lusanja. The funny thing is, when you dig deep, who is behind it is going to be somebody who is related to somebody who is related.
Because now for Lusanja it is Chichoncho.
Who is Chichoncho?
Because some people say it's an imposter.
The NRM uses such people to steal people's land. We don't even, if you look at the legitimacy of this person and the criteria on how to own such an enormous piece of land in a prime area in Kampala, which has almost 1,000 people, there are things that you have to consider. What they are doing is inhumane.
Right, right.
That they are terrorizing our people literally because they don't know. It is hard for a person, for a woman who works in a market, who is selling matoke on the street, who is selling chaku, to know that there is not going to be business tomorrow from which is going to get money to educate their children.
Yeah.
It is hard for a taxi driver who had just put money together to construct a small house and now it's going to be demolished. It is hard for someone who sells porridge in the evening, who has a small place or just in front her structure, to make money, to make a living, to support a family. Now they are destitute. They are homeless, and guess what? What comes with homelessness is diseases. Sooner or later, we are going to start having such communicable diseases, cholera, Ebola. Those things break out so soon because this is an area which is in the city. There are so many places on a small plot of land, and if it rains, these people have no latrines.
Right. Yeah, okay. So, you know, this Lusanja is in Chadon.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And Honorable Robert Chagulanyi is the representative.
Yes.
Do you what does he have in mind? Does he have any plan B or?
Actually, Honorable Chagulanyi has been standing firm with the people in Lusanja. Yeah. They had an issue with water. Yeah. We had 2 boreholes that he commissioned in Lusanja. Yeah. He has also been helping those who are able to rebuild their structures. He has been helping them donate building material. He has been there as a representative, but as of today's ruling, we are waiting to see what comes from our office in Kampala, what's the way forward. The people will also wait for guidance from him and see how to move forward from this.
All right. Yeah, you are watching the Top Up, and thanks for watching Kelo TV. Once again, my name is Semakula Musa, your host today, and I'm with Kharim Ntambi, the People Power Coordinator, USA. As you know, on this show, the Top Up, we usually bring to you whatever happened in the week. Just like I said previously, I've not been bringing guests, but today it happened that the People Power Coordinator was in town, and I mean, I also wanted to talk to him. I wanted him to tell you what People Power has got since he talks to the to the principal of People Power, who is Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, commonly known as Bobby Wine. So, Kharim, still ahead, in the course of the week, the government or the army came out and gazetted the Red Barret, which is a signature for People Power. Actually, it is the one that you're putting on. You're lucky that you're in the United States. I mean, the army cannot get you from here, but if you were in Uganda, you would be in prison right now, because yesterday some People Power supporters were arrested because of putting on the red top or the red beret. The army came out and gazetted it, and it is now known that it is for the army only. So in case you're found putting it on, it is, you can easily be prosecuted. So what is your say about that? Why is it that the government is coming out to curb each and everything that is related to People Power? We haven't seen this before, and yet we have always had opposition. How come it is happening now?
One, I would say the government is naive.
Yeah. 2,
what they are doing is illegal. It is not written anywhere in the Constitution that if somebody is wearing a red beret, you should get rid of it. Yeah. Their argument is that this red color belongs to the army. Yeah. But I know, and you know, if you have seen what the army wears, it's burgundy. The color is burgundy. It is not. It is not red.
Maybe it looks like red. It can still be red but to some people.
When you start doing such a thing, where does this stop? Today it's the beret. Tomorrow they will say what? You walk naked? It is even hard to believe that the government would go as low as taking away antics and symbols. This is a symbol for solidarity. Yeah. They know, even if it was red is a color on the Ugandan flag, it shouldn't be, and it's a color that that demonstrates brotherhood. Yeah. the kind of togetherness we have as Ugandans is embedded in this color.
So
for somebody to say, now red is going to be banned, next time what is going to happen? Are you going to say, okay, now we don't want anybody to wear black because black is for what? Are they going to stop wearing yellow because yellow is a color for prison?
But I mean, yellow is for the ruling party, and
no. It doesn't matter. Today it's the ruling party. Tomorrow it's not the ruling party.
Yeah.
When you say that, you make it sound as though if tomorrow we take power as people power, we shall continue with such a naive trend.
Yeah.
No, if they are saying we shouldn't wear red, they shouldn't wear yellow, because we know yellow is also for prisons.
What do you think might be the reason as to why they're trying to ban the red beret?
Like I said, they are naive. They are scared. We have overwhelmed them when it comes to support on ground.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go in Kampala, it's red. Even in the deepest villages, people are wearing the beret happily. So they wanted to find an excuse to start getting our people into prisons for nothing. So I think that is something that we should fight as Ugandans. We shouldn't be told what to wear and what not to wear. This is not an army uniform. Goodness sake, this is a color on the Ugandan flag. It is naive. It is naive because today it's a red beret. So tomorrow, what if we change it and it's something else? Are they going to say all color red should be, outlawed? No.
Yeah, Kharim, we're going to start from there. I mean, we're going for a simple break and we will be right back. Thanks for watching Kelo TV and the Top Up. Yeah.